Welcome to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show featuring a variety of subjects of local interest. This program was pre-recorded, so we're unable to take live calls on today's show. And now, let's talk about it.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk About It Sunday show. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, on AM1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. Stay tuned after the show. We've got Fox News and Fox News Sunday with Shannon Breen on. But right now, I want you to stay tuned because I have an awesome guest, Holly Ryan with the Centralia Downtown Festivals Association.
Hi there.
Welcome to the show. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with the Festivals Association.
We had the desire to bring some events to town, and one of the local businesses, the Selesky's Jewelry, Barb Selesky had come up with the idea of starting a 501. Mm-hmm. She was the original founder of the Festivals Association, and she asked me to join her and include Antique Fest and start to expand the events for downtown. And so that way we can bring back some of the family traditions that downtown Centralia had seen in years gone by.
Right.
And so the desire to have a really great Christmas market, the desire to have something in the way of a Halloween, to bring history to town,
right,
to bring Antique Fest, to keep that going. So she asked us to join, and she was a member for the first few years and then stepped back. So now I'm the president of the CDFA, and we're just moving forward with the great events on top of, a lot of gratitude for what Barb had started.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a cool organization, and we are such an event-driven community.
Yes.
We love to hang out together. It's funny to say that, but we love parades, we love markets, we love farmers markets, and the Christmas market is something that I love. And let me just say, you as the Grinch is by far the thing my children look forward to.
Oh, thank you. It's a heart song.
It is awesome.
Being the Grinch is very, very special, and it's a wonderful time to get gifts from the local businesses for the foster kids, as well as just celebrating people's children, and getting to just be so excited about Christmas and bringing a little special glow to downtown with the Grinch. It's extremely special. It
is, and it's really something that was it's very special tradition now for the family, because we look forward to going downtown, seeing Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Sometimes you have the hayride there.
Yes.
Hot cocoa, and then you're running around as the Grinch. And the kids should be scared of the Grinch, but I don't see one kid in downtown Centralia during that time scared of you. They all want to get their picture taken with you.
Yes, it's crazy special. And it really is a joy, and it hits me in all the parts of my heart to see so many families out, and to be able to just have those moments with people, and just feel the closeness of community, while I'm painted green.
While you're painted green. And you are a very believable Grinch.
Oh, thank you.
That's a compliment.
Thank you.
If you're just tuning in to Let's Talk About It show, AM1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. This is Let's Talk About It Sunday with Peter Abbarno, my special guest Holly with the Centralia Downtown Festivals Association. Over the weekend, I was walking around downtown. It was a Sunday, and my son and I were going to the card shop to buy NFL cards, and we were going to Holly's Place for yogurt, and we saw all the Girls' Night Out signs. Mm-hmm. And this is another really great event that you put on.
Yep, I get to participate in, and it's a wonderful fundraiser for Hope Alliance. Yeah. It brings awareness to our need for good programs for our domestic violence for women, children, and young men. It just really brings attention to the fact that some people sadly have needed the service, so they're there to give back. Right. Then it also raises awareness of where a Hope Alliance is, who they are, and that is a service in the community if you're a person in need. So it's another great opportunity to be in downtown and have it be a special day to come out, support a good cause, and also bring attention to something so deeply needed in the area.
Well, and I love that you did that, because last month I walked a mile in their shoes over at the Tiger Stadium for Hope Alliance, where you would walk a mile in their shoes to support domestic violence and sexual assault programs. I think Chris Carmenzine is doing a great job over there.
Phenomenal.
And a service we really need. So what I like about Girls' Night Out is that it is fun. It's a great event that helps small businesses. It brings attention to our beautiful historic downtown. But at the same time, it goes hand in hand with supporting a local community effort to take care of those who may need services that we don't even know, right? A lot of those sexual assault survivors aren't waving the flag telling everyone, but they need the services.
They do. And sometimes it's just hard to know. Sometimes the people in line are actually looking for where services there is available. And we've been very touched in the way of people and saying, well, my mom needed this, or my grandmother at one time was living here and she got me help because she knew where Hope Alliance was, and she went in and got me help. And so I'm here to support, because just in case another woman or girl or young man needs help. Right. So there's story after story after story of the need of help for our domestic violence victims. So very touching. And the event is so loved and well put on. Flossie Heyman and Sandra Walczyk were spearheaded and have a love and a passion to really continue the Girls' Night Out. So I'm very, very blessed to get to work alongside of them with this event.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Oh, man. And it's great every time. So October it will be back, and it'll be October 7th for the next Girls' Night Out to support Hope Alliance and get the word out again for our domestic violence needs.
So just as a reminder for all of you listening, Girls' Night Out is twice a year?
Yes,
and
twice a year.
And the next one is October 7th.
Yes.
And it is a great event. So as I recall, because I used to be on the CDA board 13 years ago when we did Girls' Night Out, you'd go to a place, you get a passport, or you would just get a bunch of businesses who would offer specials during that time. So how does the program work, or how does the event work?
Now, currently, the event there is a silent auction and a raffle. That was very successful this year. It really gave a lot into the funds headed towards Hope Alliance, and it was 100% proceeds go to them. And then Girls' Night Out, you still get your passport. You get a bag at the beginning, and it starts you out with a couple of fun handouts. The Station Coffee House by Lewis County Coffee did a phenomenal job at the beginning. You got wonderful coffee, and you have a couple cocktails and a couple from dishes that you were able to buy some treats. And then as you go, it was 32 stops this time, and you go door to door. You get specials in the stores. You get to meet the owners. A lot of times they're there to cheer you on to go on to your next stop. And then also, too, out of gratitude for you coming into town, and also to thank you for supporting our historic downtown throughout the year, they will give you something to go inside your bag in all 32 stops.
That's awesome.
And so you leave with all sorts of fun things in your bag, with also the spirit of giving along the way.
Yeah, that's great. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention you also own the Shady Lady.
Yes, I do.
And so was the Shady Lady a member of the Girls' Night Out?
Oh, 100%. Yes. And love doing it. The Bath Depot, she is located inside the Shady Lady, and that's Sandra Walczyk's business. So when you came into the Shady Lady, you got a two-for deal. So you got a gift from the Shady Lady and a gift from the Bath Depot.
That's awesome.
So, yes.
And one thing that we do a couple times a year, which I really like, is I'll just walk up and down the street with the kids, and we'll just pop in and out of antique stores and in your store and other stores just to browse and buy a few things that just pop out. It's amazing how things just pop out of interest to me in these stores. And it's not like the inventory gets stale. It's kind of interesting how everything changes. Is that how Shady Lady does as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we constantly are buying, and so you always see new things. I also am very, very fortunate to have some other, we call them the Shadies, some other gals in there with me. Okay. And so if I'm not able to find anything cool, then they're also bringing in some really cool stuff.
And you call them the Shadies?
The Shadies, yeah. And they're lovely. And so, but we work really hard to bring you a lot of interesting things, a lot of painted, upcycled, a garden, you name it. And then we also do the vintage clothing and the resale clothing. We dabble in that. And so we bring lots of fun stuff. And then we also do the free prom and homecoming dresses for the high schoolers.
That's awesome.
And so I'm a firm believer that when you're in business, if there's a way you can give back to your community and in a way that would be something that really kind of feeds your soul as a business owner too. We found a need for so many people coming and looking for dresses, and then as we were seeing more of a need of people on budgets, people not able to really afford a super expensive dress for each dance. We're up to 4,400 dresses given.
Wow.
It's our 8th year. So we now we are just couldn't believe it, but there's been a lot of dresses put into kids to go to their dances. So that was something that we do as a store for our community.
Well, and what a great value that you have. I mean, and I think it's important for small businesses and communities like ours to have the value of giving back because our business, you want your business to be successful. You want to make a living, but recognizing that the success of your business is really tied to the success of your community. And that's a really important value to have.
Oh, yes. Yes. In fact, even through, I could say that we're still open. After everything with COVID, we were not a business that received like COVID help. And I have to say that there was people who were so kind and really wanted to see us make it through COVID. So we were community supported. Whether it was a cheer on or a little purchase or just a gift card, I couldn't believe how many people did not want to see us go away, and it was locals. We were lovingly supported by so many locals. I could not believe it. Yeah, so we're here today because of our community.
Well, and even out after COVID, I was looking at statistics regarding the chamber, and the National Chamber was putting out some information saying that for every $100 you spend, about 70 stays within the community, which is not the same thing as if you shop on Amazon because 0 of it stays in the local community if you buy online, right?
Correct.
So it's so important for people to not just shop local. I mean, I'm an attorney. I always tell people even choose local because there's a lot of local services, whether it's accountants or other types of services, whether you're talking about hairdressers or barbers. Utilize the services that are in your community too.
Yes, I always say look where you live first. You will learn to love where you live if you look where you live. Yeah. And you will really develop some great relationships in business from those small businesses, storefront to storefront, or local services, like you said. Yeah. It's a whole different way when you start to look within where you're living. All of a sudden, that where you live is really not so bad, and it could be really just a vibrant spot as you get to know the people running your community, contributing to your community, serving in your community. It just gives you a whole new outlook to be proud of where you are. Yeah, no, very well said. A great statement. And I think getting out of your car and getting out and looking, putting your phone down and walking a main street is such an experience that I don't think enough people do. I live 3 blocks from downtown, so I'm always walking downtown. And it's really a new experience in the mornings when you see people opening up their shops, when you see people going to get coffee. Rather than just driving, you walk it, you appreciate it more. Yeah, totally different. A totally different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I told you I was going to talk about this because I want to say, above your Shady Lady business is what?
The Shady Lady Bordello Museum. There's
a Bordello Museum, and folks, if you haven't been there, you have to check it out for sure. So tell us the history of that.
This is, I was able to purchase my building about almost 8 years ago. And so I was able to actually get into the old hotel part of the Shady Lady. And we were formerly the Howell Hotel back in its day when it was built in 1910. Our first layer was Tower Cafe. And as I started doing more and more research, Margaret Shields, who was just a beloved researcher over at the Lewis County Historical Museum, sat down with me and we went through a lot of old newspaper article, history papers, and she made all these lovely notes. We worked on it together, and we realized how many working girls had existed through downtown. Not only were they just a local featured, there was a lot of rules regarding them. Couldn't walk on the street. In a lot of the buildings, you would travel from building to building because they weren't allowed to walk on the street. And also, too, they helped keep the businessman in town. So from the very beginning of our existence in town, we had the trains, we had the timber industry, we had taverns and bathhouses, we had bordellos, brothels. We had mercantiles. We were very bustly to keep all of this going. And so what we did was we took the old hotel part and we curated a history for the working girl, and also, too, some of the old artifacts. We actually, right now on permanent loan, we have one of the largest pieces of bar art that people come to see. We're also known to be an odd location because you have to be led into our museum. And so Weird Washington has loved us, and a lot of people come to see see us due to Weird Washington.
Well,
but it's beautiful.
Can you
it's
get
wonderful.
married there?
You could get married there. We also, during COVID, towards the end there, we were able to do micro weddings.
Yeah.
And so we've done elopements, vow renewals, commitment ceremonies, celebrations, small ones. We did micro weddings. But it's been very, very fun. I became a celebrant. And so that way, when people came off the freeway, I could marry you real quick. And it was very joyful and crazy great. And it's been one of the most fun things we've been able to add to our business. Very original. And it's a constantly, exhibits are being added. Special moments with people, just hearing about our history, hearing about Wild West Centralia, because we started out with plank roads, plank sidewalks. Right. We have survived it all, even now the pandemic, but we have survived so much to be here over 100 years.
It is amazing the things you'll find in our community if you take the time to look. And I want to thank you for tuning in to the Let's Talk About It show on AM1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and then we'll be back.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. Stay tuned. Let's Talk About It Sunday edition will return in a moment.
Okay, and now back to business.
Listen on the air and online.
KELA.
Let's talk about it. Good morning. You're listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. This program was pre-recorded, so no live phone calls on today's show.
All right, we're back on AM 1470 KELA, the Let's Talk About It Sunday show. My special guest is Holly, who is from the Centralia Downtown Festivals Association and the owner of the Shady Lady, and the owner of, I guess, the Bordello Museum in downtown Centralia, which is super cool. It's a great story and just proves how many really neat things we have in and around our community that if you take the time, you can discover and really enriches our lives. To know these things are part of our history and things that we can go see. But you're also part of the Festival Association. We talked about some of the events that are going on. What are some of the upcoming events that I think folks locally or maybe who are listening from out of town might want to come see?
Well, coming up June 3rd, being that we have actually 4 fabulous museums in downtown Centralia. And they really are kind of hidden gems that people, when they discover them, they can't believe we have 4. So museums, murals, and moonshine tours coming up June 3rd.
You had me at moonshine.
I know. It's wonderful. Our history is crazy with all the taverns we've had. So you're going to get a walking tour of the murals. You're going to get some really fun history regarding our bootleggers, moonshiners, and our taverns for downtown. And then you get an all-day pass to go to all 4 museums. So you have the Shady Lady Bordello Museum, the America's Team Museum, the King Agricultural Museum, which if you have not been there, it's a block. And it's absolutely fabulous. It's one of those things that everybody should at least see once because it's a wonderful tribute to our farmer.
It sure is.
Oh my gosh. And Dave King and his wife, fabulous. And then George and Mary Jane Washington Museum, and that is put on by the Centralia Downtown Association. It's a wonderful tribute to our founder and wonderful history, and a lot of loving hands have been contributing to representing George.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you get all day. It's from 10 to 4, and we're really looking forward to that one just because it's a great to learn about the history of where you are and in our downtown. It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too about the museums you were listing is that you can drive for sure. But it's actually, we live in a walkable city. Mm-hmm. You could actually walk to all of these points, just like your ghost tours that you do, which are pretty neat too.
Yes, those are wonderful. That's a beloved event too.
That's in the scary time of year. Isn't
it is a Halloween time.
Yep.
And so I am also very fortunate to get to write your ghost stories. We do find all the ghosts we can all through downtown. That particular one is coming up. It's going to be October 20th and 21st. We bring you a Halloween themed market in the old hotel, Lewis and Clark. And then myself and a few guides pull you to 13 stops with Ross Allison and the paranormal group that he represents. Yeah. And he comes down to do some ghost hunting and gives you their findings and some of the great ghost stories that happen downtown, some really great history. So you get to enjoy.
Did you see any ghosts? Have you seen any?
You know, we try to save it for the tour, but I have to say we have some wonderful haunted spots in downtown.
I'm sure we do.
We do.
It is. I was just going to say, I mean, especially because I've seen the ghost tours being led around, and it is, I'm like, man, there has to be so much rich, a little bit scary history. I mean, in any kind of pioneer town that's been around for hundreds of years or plus, there's a history, and we most certainly have a history here in Centralia.
Yes, and I always like to remind people that we do mix it with its history, it's the ghost stories, it's the you're going to get some really great moments with some of the shopkeepers. You do get to go into some of the buildings, and we have had we get people back in town with all their gear going through, and if anybody, just a little tip, it's the alleys. We call them the paranormal tunnels. You're going to want to hit those with your gear, so there's lots of cool stuff in the alleys.
And my son always tells me, I don't want to take the alley home, Dad. I don't want to take the alley home.
Paranormal tunnel.
Yeah, paranormal tunnel. That's what they're called now. So tell us a little bit, what else do you have going on? I mean, I know there's so many really good events. I mean, the Christmas market's always a classic. We talked a little bit about that before, but that's always just so much fun, too.
Yes, that one you're going to get a lot of community. We get, again, a wonderful Christmas market. It's the week before the tractor parade, so it kind of warms you up to the holiday, gets you in the mood. Great time to hit downtown. We bring Santa. You're going to see Grinch.
Are you going to see a reindeer?
A reindeer here.
You bring one right in front of my law office on Magnolia.
The reindeers are crazy great. Yep. And then we also offer rides for the kids. And then we have a couple more surprises that are going to happen this year that we're trying to get to town. So as we can secure it, you're going to really get a kick out of it as a community. So we have a couple surprises. Hopefully that can come together.
You know, what I really like about this market, too, is that it's early enough because I always take the kids there and we pick out gifts for their teachers.
Oh, nice.
And then we pick out some little gifts. So it's early enough that they aren't out of school yet, but they have about a week left or so. You can get a bunch of gifts there, and there's some really good ideas. I mean, and you're supporting a lot of local artists.
Oh, man, a lot of some of the best makers.
Yeah.
And some of our farmers. We have some wonderful people that bring in their handmade goods, and we can't get over how beautiful. It's such a beautiful market.
Yeah. Yeah, it does a great job. So what other events you have going on? Because I know you have a bunch of them.
We do. We have Antique Fest coming up. That's your outdoor vintage flea. And that's going to be August 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's a 2.5-day event. And then we also bring the Antique Nomad. He's all over the internet. He travels everywhere appraising people's items, $5 an item. And he gives you a document. So if you have to insure your item, you can. He's a legitimate appraiser. But the Antique Nomad will be with us for the Saturday and Sunday.
And Antique Fest is something that we're known for here.
Oh, yes. We represent all the antique stores downtown. So you're going to get sidewalk sales, live music. We bring in food. The farmers market's going to join us also, too, for an extended weekend. And then also, too, all the great vendors that come in. So we fill up Pine Street, and we just have such a fabulous weekend. It's wonderful to hit downtown August 4th, 5th, and 6th.
I don't know anybody who's gone to one of the Antique Fests and not left with something.
Oh, man, you get lots of cool stuff.
Lots.
It comes from all over the place, and it's really some great, fabulous finds from people.
I know I'm in trouble when my wife says, "Hey, can you go get the truck?"
Yeah.
Then you know you're in trouble. So.
And so, wonderful event. Event. And we get a lot of out-of-towners. I want to say people travel in and we fill up the hotels. This event brings probably close to about 3,000 people to town. So you have a nice crowd that flutters through 10 blocks. Yeah. So it really not only feeds the flea market, it brings attention to our downtown, fills the streets, but it also gets people in the restaurants, in the taverns, enjoying sandwiches, enjoying pizza up the street. You're going to have people shopping in all the antique stores because we have so many downtown, and we're known for that. It really bolsters that market and gets people junk hunting. You have people looking for art. And boutique shopping. They come in from everywhere. It's a great weekend in downtown and very prosperous for the downtown.
And I'm noticing, I mean, every small town, we call them main streets, right? They're these small historic downtowns, goes through the ebb and flow of the economy. But it seems like Centralia is getting that resurgence again. You had the white space open up, and then you had another little wine bar place that opened up. The juice box is doing well. Lewis County Coffee moved into the station. It seems like there's the hustle and bustle is still happening.
No, totally happening. I know we've really watched through all the shutdown, through everything. hoping that we would not lose our storefronts and would not go blight.
Right.
And I have to say that there are still small towns that are blight. They have not made, it's been such a hard comeback. Centralia, again, has survived it all. And as COVID was moving over, those storefronts just kept opening. People still believe in brick and mortar businesses. They've been renting and leasing and giving it, not giving up on the fact that you could be an entrepreneur in a small town, and have that representation. The Juice Box has been bringing all sorts of, a music venue, comedy night, all that. And so that's been really sugar boosting, the next generation coming to town with their families. Right. And so we're seeing that more people coming in that maybe didn't necessarily know that our little downtown was here, or that it would be for all ages.
Right.
So we've been really seeing it I can honestly say like the next generation of people who are going to support the brick and mortar.
Right.
So it's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, and you see more people downtown milling around now that you have the Centralia College sports field. It's because you're going to get spectators and teams. Borst Park and the Sports Hub is getting or is turfing all of their sports fields, so their season's going to be extended, and that's going to be helpful. And you're just seeing people who generally are having an interest in checking out historic downtowns. I think the signage that the city did is helping as well, the wayfaring signs.
Yes, that was something we've needed for a while.
Yeah.
But I can say the amount of people that are coming into town via the sports complex is by the 1,000.
Yeah.
So, and as it trickles through town, and as they learn to maneuver Centralia, there's a lot of repeat families.
Yeah.
I've been very surprised at the consistency of the consumer coming from the sports complex. And we have people who come back to do the shopping, to eat, to stay in the hotels, to stay in the Airbnbs. And then we're seeing another hit from the college also, too. And some of those families are just walking on in.
Yeah.
So we're getting foot traffic from that. So as things are being developed in town and learning how to become a town turning into a city is what I always say.
Yeah.
Learning how to maneuver that and learning how to capture the consumer, and not just seeing it as someone who would just go to the outlets who have brought lots of business to town, or just down Harrison. We're seeing them traveling all the way down to find the charming downtown.
Yeah.
So people are figuring out how to be around Centralia. And the city, I believe, is learning how to be a city that encompasses the consumer and how to capture them. So working together to figure out our growth has been a challenge, but this last year especially, we've really seen some things pull together, and we're starting to see the hard work pay off of learning how to maneuver them, like you said, with the wayfinding.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
And it's so important for a city that's growing to have a diverse economic portfolio and balance that with still preserving its historic small charm. And I think Centralia is feeling its way through that. And I think it's doing it in a successful way. And your comments are kind of bolstering, or at least echoing what I've been thinking, that we're doing a good job kind of balancing that.
Yes. And a historic downtown, we see a lot of people looking at property in the area. We have a lot of real estate movement.
Yeah.
And I could say that having a charming downtown gives a lifestyle.
It does.
And so if we could keep that downtown core strong, viable, and invested in, you will maintain your sweet, charming, on-foot, walkable downtown. It gives a lifestyle to our new community moving in from outsiders coming in. So to keep that downtown vibe, it's crucial.
Yeah, I agree. And Holly, we're running out of time, and I just want to thank you so much for coming, joining us, sharing everything that the Downtown Festivals Association is doing. And if somebody wanted to contact you or go online, where can they find you?
You can either reach me at the Shady Lady, which we're pre-registering the cars for the Hub City Car Show coming up August 26th. 300 cars hit town, so you want to get those cars pre-registered. So you can reach me at the Shady Lady. You also can email us at downtowncentraliaevents@gmail.com, or just walk into the shop. We're more than happy to help you and let you know what's going on. And we'd love to see you in downtown, shopping, eating, having a good time with your family and friends, and also attending the events.
Yeah, thank you, Holly. I really appreciate you coming.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Sunday with your host, Peter Abbarno, on AM1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. Up next, Fox News Report and Fox News Sunday. Have a great Sunday.